Breaking at noon, the Supreme Court backs President Donald Trump on firing thousands of federal workers. How another legal case is complicating the matter.
We request you respond to the North Bend Airport report as a single private jet that's crashed.
That was dispatch audio after a private jet skidded off the runway and into the waters of Coos Bay. We have updated information on that. Plus,
beautiful historic building, but over 100 years old.
And parents at Portland Public Schools are pushing for a bond renewal so 3 high schools can get a new look. And we're taking a live look at Ben & Jerry's Scoop Shop in Portland. Some familiar KGW faces are there today, scooping free ice cream. There's Drew Carney doing what Drew Carney does, whatever that is. We'll have more on the good cause behind it all coming up. Thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. Breaking this afternoon, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of President Trump, allowing his administration to keep several thousand probationary workers it's attempting to fire off the federal payroll, at least for now. The Supreme Court's decision will stand while lower courts weigh whether the administration's downsizing efforts are legal, but the effect of today's order will be limited for now. Many employees at the agencies will remain on paid administrative leave because of an order in a separate lawsuit over those filings. Financial markets are seeing some relief today as stocks rebound after losses from President Trump's new tariffs announcement. Analysts say that there is hope that the U.S. might negotiate with trading partners to reduce tariffs. Despite discussions, no agreement seemed near before Trump's midnight deadline when higher reciprocal tariffs will kick in. The White House confirmed a cumulative 104% tariff on Chinese goods overnight. All right, taking a live look out at Pioneer Courthouse Square. Cloudy and scattered shower right now. And I think we can definitively say that those bricks are wet.
I see a wannabe puddle there covering the bricks.
There you go.
Pretty wet morning out there as promised. Today, though, overall, I thought yesterday overachieved. We had a lot of heavy rain pockets. We had numerous reports of hail. We had a couple of lightning strikes about 1/4 till noon yesterday. Well, today, the earlier heavy rain pockets have quickly kind of washed out. It hasn't been scattered. It's been mostly steady rain, more than not, moving across the area. And you can see this last frame. See the bright colors just go away, and now it's mostly green. So no longer a thunder threat, and probably no longer a hail threat for most of us either, as this is turning into more of a gentle rain. I still think the rain that we do have will be getting out of here around the 2 o'clock hour this afternoon, and then much drier the back end of today. It's been a really wet one up in Astoria, getting hammered, especially earlier this morning, 94 100ths of an inch. But look at Portland and Salem. Not even 5 100ths of an inch of rain. It has been snow up at Timberline, but it's just wet down at pass level. Our lunchtime temperature in Portland is 56 degrees. Breezy southwest winds to 20. We keep that up. But by 4 p.m., just a few scattered showers. And by the time we get to this evening, mainly dry. In China, I still have a really nice Wednesday forecast for you coming up in my 7-day.
Looking forward to that, Ron. Thank you. All right, take a moment to look at your screen here in just a second. Vancouver police say they need your help identifying these hit and run suspects. So take a good look here. Police say they hit another car with a stolen BMW before running away. That's what happened there around 6 o'clock last night at Northeast 78th and Anderson Road. A mom and 3 kids were in the car that was hit, but police say no one had serious injuries. If you have any information on this, call Vancouver police. And Portland Fire shared these photos of the damage after a car backed into the fire marshal's office on Southeast Gideon Street this morning. They say there are no injuries. The driver remained on scene to be interviewed by law enforcement. The office is still open today, but you might have to go another way. New information now out of Wahkiakum County. Detectives have found and identified the body of 16-year-old Tristan Huang from Vancouver, who went missing in September. Wahkiakum County Sheriff's Office say that they received a report from a boater last Tuesday about the body floating in the Columbia River near the north end of the Puget Island. They launched a patrol boat and found the body later confirmed to be Huang. Police are still trying to determine the cause of death.
We request you respond to the North Bend Airport report as a single private jet that's crashed, 5 passengers on. There is injuries.
That's dispatch audio from Southern Oregon after a private plane skidded off the runway in North Bend and ended up in the waters of Coos Bay. Now, officials say all 5 people on board, 4 passengers and 1 pilot, had only minor injuries here. But yesterday, after approval from the NTSB, crews removed that plane from the water with a crane. It's now being stored nearby.
There was actually a witness that witnessed the plane going off the end of the runway, so a call was made to emergency responders. I know that within just a short period of time, they were in an ambulance being taken to the hospital.
Federal investigators will evaluate the plane to try and understand what happened here. Commercial air service was briefly on hold yesterday, but all flights have since resumed. Portland Public Schools about to put a new bond measure before voters, one it says won't mean an increase in property taxes. KGW's Alma McCarty caught up with some parents who are hoping to win support even in uncertain economic times.
And we are making sure we're visible before ballots come out at the end of this month.
Outside Cleveland High School, parents and future students spread the word about an upcoming election.
This is not a tax increase. It is not a new tax. This is a renewal of the existing tax rate.
Up for Portlanders' consideration, renewing a school bond to fund technology, extracurriculars, and athletics improvements, to repair and update aging buildings, and to rebuild and modernize 3 high schools: Jefferson, Ida B. Wells, and of course, Cleveland. Elizabeth Super's 10th grader attends this school.
Beautiful historic building, but over 100 years old. What we're asking for, and really for this bond, is just for Cleveland to be brought up to that modernization standard, to have all the education specifications that the other kids at Portland Public Schools have.
If the $1.83 billion bond package is approved by voters, the tax rate would continue to be approximately $2.50 per $1,000 of assessed value, according to the district.
The time is just now to complete this process. We understand that the schools are more expensive now. We've waited long enough, but if we wait longer, it's just going to be more expensive.
While an easy choice for some, others aren't sold on it. Here's Scott Bailey, a former PPS board member and parent, speaking at a meeting last month. He told the board, based on declining enrollment projections, it doesn't add up.
That's a huge overbuild. Hundreds of millions overbuild. If it gets on the ballot, I will oppose it. And I will fight it because I think it's a huge waste of money.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Voters in Portland will have a chance to pass or reject that school bond renewal during the special election on May 20th. In an update, the city of Portland has decided to keep an overnight women's shelter in Old Town open at least through the end of the month, that is. The reopening in January was part of the city and county's winter shelter plan. Both the city and county invested $750,000 to fund 200 overnight beds at 2 Salvation Army locations for the winter months. And while the 90 days are technically over, the city did confirm that both will remain open for the next few weeks.
I don't know, it means everything. Like, that helps me stay sober, that helps me stay safe, stops me from doing things that I shouldn't be doing. Just like a place where you can sleep and not have to worry about rocks digging in your back.
The city and Salvation Army are now negotiating to extend the operations past the end of the month. We have more information about what happened and what will happen next month when the country's Real ID deadline hits on May 7th. According to the TSA and Homeland Security, even when the deadline arrives, people will still be able to board a plane using a regular driver's license. But they did add that travelers should expect extra delays and more security. They're calling it a phased-in approach to Real ID enforcement.
The length of that delay is really determined based on the number of other travelers who don't have a Real ID compliant credential or other form of acceptable government ID.
Now, it's not clear how long people will be able to just get through with a regular license, but keep in mind here, once you do apply for a Real ID, it can still take 2 to 3 weeks to get it in the mail, and the DMV says that TSA will not accept the temporary paper version. All right, it is a free cone day at Ben and Jerry's Scoop Shops around the country from noon to 8 p.m. It's also the 15th annual Scoopathon. This scoop shop in downtown Portland. That's what all the ruckus is about over there. We have Drew Carney, David Molko, Christine Bidawanich, and Lacey Evans scooping there until 1 o'clock. so you can go see them. And just so you know, this is the only Ben & Jerry's scoop shop in the Portland area and the only one in the country owned and operated by a nonprofit. But New Avenues for Youth uses the shop to help teach job skills to young people it serves. They have been serving local teens and youth who are homeless or at risk of being homeless for more than 25 years now. And just so you know, all cones are free from noon to 8. Again, all cones are free from noon to 8 o'clock. You can also make a donation to support the work there.